2 Ezra 9:2. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Kol Halo Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the great millstone, coming at you another lesson in truth. And in spite of all the things that are going on in the earth geopolitically, the Lord still is ravaging the earth with storms and earthquakes and other natural things that are not natural because the Lord is creating them. Back to 2 Ezra 9 and 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that it is that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And the signs are showing themselves. We are near the end. The last three things are on the table, right? Which is the plagues, the MOTB, and World War III. And all it takes is for the MOT to be made mandatory, which is with the collapse of the U.S. currency. And the U.S. being behind in the digital game, they're gonna launch that real quick. Now, and not to mention that people are starting to learn about the inner workings of the Federal Reserve and the IRS, and they're learning how to manipulate it to pay their bills, to actually access the trust fund that's attached to your straw person. Your straw person is your all capital name that's on your Social Security card. Because you notice you don't write your name that way, and your birth certificate is traded on the market, and people are actually learning how to access and take control, become the judiciary of that account and use it. So the system, they have to get rid of it now, because Esau's been doing that for a long time. But when Jake starts doing it, same thing they did when Jake started filing chapter 7 and chapter 11 bankruptcy. All of a sudden they started changing the laws, because Esau was filing for bankruptcy and keeping his boats and his houses, his homes, his cars, and they couldn't have, you got to understand these laws in this land. We the people, you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, you weren't meant to be a part of that. All right, you're meant to be a workforce for those people. All right, but America's dealings and the way it deals with its neighbors and the world community is turning everyone against it. All right, and the world is seeing that, and you've even got former Marine officers and congressmen and people in high places saying that, because they understand that America needs us to change its policy in order for it to remain. But here's the thing, that's a pipe dream within itself, because it's already written that Babylon will not be healed.
The United States and its infinite desire for creating chaos and anarchy. Just everybody keep an eye on Georgia, the Republic of Georgia, where the United States is seeking to foment a Maidan-style revolution against the Georgian government that's trying to crack down on American soft power coup. There's riots in the street right now. It reminds me very much of what was going on in Kiev back in December 2013, January 2014. This thing could go south real quick. When I mean south, I mean a civil war, which would be terrible for the Republic of Georgia, terrible for the region. But it's America. I mean, this is what America does. We don't bring peace and prosperity anywhere we go. we bring death and destruction.
In the form of democracy. Democracy, grenade. You can't say that the two go hand in hand. All right? We're bringing some democracy. We're bringing some death and destruction, some dead women and children, and destroyed properties. This is Ecclesiasticus, what's the book of Sirach, 10:1. It says, and a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of the prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so is his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all that dwell therein. So, with all the LBGT and pedo stuff that's happening to children in America and all the stuff that's being taught, now they're trying to counteract it with the Ten Commandments, and which the Ten Commandments is shorthand of 613, by the way, for you Christians that don't know, all right? And that law was never meant for you. and then it's funny because America supposedly was based upon biblical principles, and they do everything opposite of the Bible, and they always have. The Bible was a front, and all this Christian, democracy was all a front until now it's become really, it's irrelevant, and it holds them back from moving forward with their progressive, left-hand sideness, so to speak in terms that they'll understand. Doesn't benefit them, especially now the world knows that they're not the Christians, they're not the the people of the book, Benjamin B.B. Makowski, all right? B.B. changed his name to to not a Jew. Everyone knows, the whole world knows that the JOOs are not the people of the Lord at this point. The world knows. All right, I had an image of a map. See if I can find that map in my phone. And a map it showed in green all the nations that were with the BRICS. BRICS is has over 50 nations that are with it, and we're talking about major nations, including EU, NATO nations that are going to join unto them. All right. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, hello, found it. So right here, okay. So you can see America, Canada, Australia, right? Some parts of it look like there might be Ireland, different parts of of Europe, but a big portion of Europe is basically with the BRICS. And so only the colonizing thieving nations, that through unrighteous decrees have, raped, robbed, and murdered and took other people. So they're the only ones for it, because that's what they do. That's the way they get down. Back to the scripture. What was that in Sirach? Yeah, that's Sirach 10:3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right, so America's policy, they've done this to themselves. No one has done this to them, showing you that there's no more wisdom in Teeman, and the so-called white man is not fit for rulership. He clearly isn't. He destroys himself with his own policies, all right, and he destroys his people. All right, and then at the head of that is the the JOOs, the small hatters. They're making all the rest of you Edomites suffer to fulfill their fake identity fraud pipe dream of being the people of the Lord. All right. It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set up over it one that is profitable, and that one is Yahushua. All right, and Yahushua is coming to bring the kingdom of heaven here on earth, and he's going to give that power into the hands of King David, who is Peter, all right, and the rest of the 144,000, who are the 12,000 judges, and then it said ta-da at that. 12,000 judges from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's your new government forever and ever and ever, unending. All right, royal bloodline straight from heaven. Okay, it says, and everything that Esau has pretended to be in his books and in his movies and through religion. It said, in the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. All right, and so that's where we are. Let me jump down to verse 8, Ecclesiastes 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and people are sick and tired of these damn deceivers, these devils. That's what devil means, deceiver. Let me close this door. Salakia. Yeah, the dog opened it up. So I'm gonna play about maybe 5 minutes and 30 seconds of this video, and then finish out with scriptures. All right, because I'm just gonna let them tell on themselves and see how their policy, their tongue is falling upon themselves, and that there's no wisdom left in these people. All right. So this is Lena Petrova and her guest, Dr. Saeed Mohammed Marandi.
The G7, for example, their combined economic capabilities are much smaller than the combined economic capabilities of BRICS, and that gap is simply going to increase in the years ahead. And one would think that the United States and the Europeans, if they had rational leaders rather than these emotional, angry politicians, that they would be searching for solutions that would help the West and its global standing. They would try to seek a solution with countries like Iran to lessen tensions and to improve relations with countries across the global South. But what they're doing instead is that they're simultaneously antagonizing different countries across the globe. It's no longer just about Iran. It's Iran, Russia, China, and and a host of other smaller countries. And the West has spread itself very thin. So it's a foolish policy. It's a failing policy. And now they've created so many antagonists that they're simply collapsing under the weight of their own foolish policies.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined by Professor Sayed Mohammed Marandi. He is an academic at the University of Tehran and political analyst. Professor Marandi and I are going to discuss the recent news with respect to the BRICS bloc. There's a lot going on, economic development aspirations for the global majority, and what Iran's full membership in the BRICS Plus means for its economy. Professor Marandi, welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So the BRICS Plus has been making headlines this year. Everyone is waiting in anticipation of the annual summit that is scheduled for October of this year. It will take place in Russia, in Kazan. And there's a high probability that a new alternative financial system will be announced. So with the number of crippling sanctions placed on developing countries and the recent seizure, let's just call it that way, of Russian sovereign assets, BRICS membership is now the goal of 50 plus nations around the world. And I think that is so impressive. So what, in your opinion, serves to unite so many countries around the world, despite their differences and in many cases, despite conflicts that they've had before?
Well, you're going to have to thank the Americans and their allies for that. They've antagonized so many different countries that there's become it's created a global consensus, literally, or at least across the global South, that something has to be done. The United States has, as you pointed out, recently confiscated Russian assets at the United States and its allies, but in the past they've confiscated Iranian assets, Venezuelan assets, and assets of other countries as well. And by sanctioning a host of different countries in Latin America, as well as in Africa and Asia, and now the Russians and increasingly China, the United States is creating an incentive more than ever before for alternative trade mechanisms, alternative means for carrying out business, and alternative financial institutions, and of course an alternative to the US dollar. And the Americans and the Europeans, they still don't seem to recognize that they are bringing about the downfall of their hegemony over financial institutions through these extremist acts. And even countries like India have a strong incentive to circumvent U.S. controlled financial institutions, because they want to do trade with countries like Iran and Russia, among others. And no one wants to be told by the Americans and the Europeans who they can trade with and who they can't trade with. The days when the United States could dictate terms to almost all countries is over. The United States has overextended its hand for a host of different reasons, or due to a host of different reasons. The endless wars, especially the wars after 9/11, the policies that have been implemented, whether it's quantitative easing or the spending that the United States has been carrying out for these wars, or just the fact that they're printing money and imposing sanctions on one country after another. All of these have combined to create a sense of urgency for countries to create this alternative mechanisms.
And that's what's happening. These alternative mechanisms of once vassal, the vassal states that were once with America now join. It's like the scriptures say, how you now become as weak as we, and America's just exposed, man. They're being called out for what they really are and what they've been doing, and that they really, that whole America first, while at the same time not really living up to the defense of its vassal states. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump gets in, the wars will probably immediately begin, because he already said that he is not going to, that NATO will not come to the aid of America. He's not going to come to the aid of them. So it's, and now, as of yesterday, if I believe, now the Israelis, Benjamin Mikowski, had the nerve to open his mouth against American Congress now, saying that they're being hypocritical on giving him weapons so he can continue his genocide. Let's go to the scriptures. This is Jeremiah 49th chapter. And we'll finish there. There's a lot of scriptures in that chapter. Yeah, 49. And I'm going to start at verse 16. And it reads, verse 15, for I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. So that being not only, the JOOs, but Esau and Edom. Because the world is looking at at Edom as being the problem. And you know how many memes and signs I've seen of white women saying, counsel white men, or get rid of them? Their own women are turned. That's how the curses are falling upon them. When the Lord said that he would turn these curses, how the so-called black woman is so against the so-called black man collectively, all right, here in this society. And now it's starting to happen with Esau Edom. I see so many of his women every day with so-called black men. Yeah, what's that guy who was the good-looking dude who had the mug shot, had the women all gaga over him about maybe going back 4 or 5 years ago? He just married a Edomite billionaire. All right, a billionaire, and she a little on the fine side too. Let me see if I can find that. I think Murph sent me that picture too. I asked him to. But you remember the guy, the old, the dude with the that was real fit with the green eyes? Yeah, this dude right here, found it. Yeah, this is something else. See if we can get some light. Yeah, it says he deserved to enjoy his 7-figure lifestyle with his billionaire boo. All right. So he went from, and that's just how it's going to be. Israel's going to go from being a nobody on the bottom, being looked at as a criminal and a problem into society. And look, and I always said, when we get your women when we have nothing, how much more when we have everything? Yep. Revenge is a dish best served cold. All right. Let's go back to the scripture. Jeremiah 49:17. Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Now, the only people that ever lived in the caves. That holdest the height of the hill, though they shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle. The only people that exalt themselves and use the eagle, every Edomite nation has used the eagle as their symbol. All right, from Alexander all the way up to now. Okay, as high as the eagle, and it says, and I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and it shall be a hiss at all, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. So everyone's hissing at it. Everything is going wrong here in Babylon. Okay? Jump down, go back to 7 and 10. Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman, is counsel perished, and from the prudent is their wisdom vanished? And it has. You weaponized your dollar to the point to where you made your vassal states and your and other countries afraid to don't want to do business with you anymore. Because the message you really sent was that your currency isn't safe. Because all I have to do is voice my opinion, and you don't like it, and you put sanctions on me. Everything that Esau does backfired. They hired Vocab Malone to go out and come against the Hebrew Israelites, and all he did was help push the gospel and wake people up, because people who didn't believe or weren't paying attention started paying attention. And if you do pay attention and you're honest, you come to the conclusion that, damn, well, these people call themselves the Hebrews. Well, they are, and they're right. That's what happens if you're honest with your research and what you read and what you're studying. All right? With yourself. Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Just like the conversation I had with the dude from Bangladesh last week, when he just out of nowhere from Bangladesh, which is Elam, when he just came out of nowhere in our conversation and said that the JOOs are the problem in the world. All right, everyone knows that they're not the people of the Bible. Everyone knows that they're, so I don't understand, why America's going broke and causing all these problems, around the world, and bringing on the brink of verge of World War III all over a lie to cover up their lie. That's basically what he said. All right, Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh, and he have taken against Edom and his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And everything, all this stuff that's going on over there in Western Asia, that they fraudulently call the Middle East, in Western Asia, well, all those problems can be blamed on on Esau Edom. All right, and mainly Amalek. Jumping down to 22, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of women in pangs. Because why? They're going to be annihilated in these upcoming wars that they've started. All right, and then the Lord's going to come and smash everybody, and bring in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Repent. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash Kwam Yasharallah Abad Babal.